everybody. Welcome to the Golden Girls Coffee Klatch. I have with me the lovely Cleo, aka Dorothy, and Marina, aka Sophia, and I'm aka Blanche. And we don't know, Rose is still somewhere south of the border. We can't find her. We don't know where she's at. So
I heard she hooked up with a young man. That's the last I heard. So
well, that explains that, doesn't it?
yeah.
She ain't never coming back.
No.
Oh my goodness. Well, with all of the lovely crap going on in our world today, let's start by saying hello to everybody. We lost Cleo. Tea Garden Chicken, Edward, Jen, Artist Liz, Angel, Helena, Chris, Patricia, Terry, scroll back up, Sherry, Sherry, Kimberly, Cleo, Mimi, Marina, Alcia,
I don't know what's
and
going on
Gordian
today.
Knot, and let's see,
If that happens
Debbie
again,
and Bern and Aline. All right. We got a full house tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah.
if I get kicked out again, don't be surprised. I've been running into this. I don't know what's going on. It shouldn't be doing that, but it's done it to me a couple times the other day.
Oh.
And it just says, oops, something happened. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh no.
This was me, a couple of weeks ago? It kept doing it to me. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating when it does happen because
it's very frustrating. Don't worry. It did it to me a couple of weeks ago, and I was hosting, and it kept kicking me out. Thank God I had made Marina my admin so she could kind of run things until I could get.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go all the way out and come back in. So I'll see you guys in a minute.
All right. Sounds good.
Works for us. Yeah, we've been there, done that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's new in your world?
It's hot. It's humid. We got kittens. They're doing great. They'll be 2 weeks old on Monday. They're already double in size. I got to download some new pictures and video that Lewis took, and because his camera works so much better than mine does on the phone. So
yeah,
I'm like, okay, you're in charge of pictures for the babies, and so I hope to have that up and a couple of those up in the next day or so, and just I don't know, same old. What about you? What you been up to, Marina?
It's been a fairly light week, which is fine. I'm totally okay with that. Did the show earlier with Val, and that was episode 133 of Messages for Light Workers.
I was watching.
Yes, I know.
I fell asleep. I thought, oh, good, they're on, and I laid back on the bed, and I thought, I can just lay here and listen, and then next thing I know, my little alarm was going off. I was like, well, Marina must have been talking again because she puts me to sleep every time. You just have that kind of voice, that melodious kind of voice, and it just puts me out in a heartbeat.
There you go. I'll have to maybe record some meditations for you that you can play.
There you go. That would work.
Yes.
What about you, Cleo? What's up with you?
Well, tomorrow I've got polyterology, I think, with you, Sherry.
Yeah, tomorrow night. Sure enough.
And then on Monday, I believe I have kitchen table issues with Marina. Yes, so it's you guys. Yay!
Yeah. Hey,
that's what I got going on.
There you go. Well, and I forgot to mention it earlier. Nope, she's gone again. Polyterology tomorrow night. Also, Angela Cardamancy Mesquite, who is starting to come back a little bit. Y'all know she's been real sick, and she's going to come on and do a live with me tomorrow. And I had reached out to Linda G to say, hey, I have a day off during the day. Are you busy? She's like, yeah, let's do a show. So we're going to do a pre-recorded show in the morning, and then I'll release it sometime during the day. And then I have my monthly date with Nate on Saturday, and then the slumber party Saturday night. So yeah, it's been a really light week. It really has. It's just not nearly as much stuff as what I've usually got crammed on my calendar. But
yeah, exactly. Tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'll be on Allie's channel. It's just July 4th, show up. We'll be tossing cards. There is no real, plan or whatnot, but yeah, we'll be doing that. And yeah, that's about it. Monday is Jason Tempinski is coming back at 1 p.m. and then at 5 p.m. Yes, he's fabulous. Yeah, Cleo and I are doing kitchen table issues. I'm sure we'll have lots to talk about because by then the 4th will be over, and yeah.
And the
people will have awakened from their drunken stupor and realize, what did my legislator do to me now?
Yeah, the big beautiful bill will be signed, and then we'll just all be screwed. Is what's going to go on.
Yeah, and the sad part about that is, generally, I would have preferred a dinner and a movie before something like that happened, but
yeah, really.
Yeah.
One would think, yeah. Speaking of which, it's I got a movie planned out to watch this weekend. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. You can rent it. So we're
Nice.
I think it's good for like 2 or 3 days when you rent it, and you watch it as many times as you want. So it's called Ballerina with Anna de Armas. It's like the extension of the John Wick movies, but it's shooting off into another avenue. But she was like trained by him, so there's Keanu Reeves comes back for some like flashback scenes and whatnot, so because spoiler alert, the last John Wick they did, he was gone. So they finally permanently killed him off. So,
there you go. There you go.
It was like, dude, you can only take so many bullet and knife wounds before it's just too much, unless you're Captain America or somebody, you're not going to heal from it. But and there was another movie too that's coming out this weekend, and I can't remember now what it was. I've got it saved, so I'll figure it out when I go into my Prime and say, oh, what was that I wanted to watch?
Yeah. Yes.
That's my problem. I save too many and then forget about them.
Yeah. But you know what? I do like to watch them at home, but I do like to go to the movie theater.
I have not been back to the theater since the Big C hit.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of movies that I wanted to go see at the theater, and just for whatever reason, it just didn't work out, and I'm wound up having to wait until it came on the movie channels or Amazon. One of them was Gladiator 2, which is like the sequel to the original Gladiator with Russell Crowe. And it was surprisingly really good. I mean, I'd heard a lot of mixed opinions on it, and but I really enjoyed it. I thought they did good with the storyline, the way they kind of brought it around full circle. So that was kind of cool. Nice. Because the only character that was still there from the first movie was Connie, I can't think of her last name right now, but she played the Caesar's daughter in the first one, and now she's like the last living person from Caesar. And so she's kind of there as a figurehead and to keep things put together. And so it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And
nice.
I tend to go for the action adventure stuff. You know, I don't like to go to the theater and cry my eyes out and everything, because then you
totally
you walk out the theater and you got black running down your face and it's snot everywhere, and it's like, yeah, no, let's not do that.
No. Well, I'm so sorry that I keep getting kicked out of here. It might be
that's okay.
Weather. It might be the weather.
It could be.
Know. Because there's nothing wrong with my computer, and
no, I went through it a week and a half ago. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on. There she goes again. Yeah. It's just very irritating, y'all. Just bear with us.
Yes.
She'll come back when she comes back. I don't know what it is. Fingers crossed it doesn't happen to me.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So just go with it.
Yeah. Don't think about it. So what do we have? What's on the agenda for?
I'm trying to see if anybody had any good questions here.
Are we talking about the big, beautiful bill?
Yeah.
You know, somebody the other day, I think it was when I was doing something with my sister, said that they were waiting for the big, beautiful obituary. I thought that was hilarious. The big, beautiful obituary.
Yes. Folks, it's going to be sooner rather than later. And yeah, for those that are wondering, you know, if anything happens to the Orange Menace, well, then that means that J.D. Vance becomes president. He will never serve a day. Never.
No.
Never. So the shite is getting ready to hit the proverbial fan.
Well, and everybody, all the Republicans are, you know, they don't like what they're having to do with Trump, but they don't stop.
They don't have the balls to stand up against him.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. I'm really tired of hearing you know, Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins and you know, Rand Paul and some of the other ones about, oh no, this is no good. We can't do that. And you know, what kind of legacy are we leaving for our children and blah blah blah.
And then they sign.
And then it's, are you going to vote? Yeah, I'm in. You know,
yeah. I mean,
don't try to explain it.
And to hear like Speaker Johnson, Moses Mike come out and start talking about, oh, how wonderful it is and blah, blah, blah. It's like, at this point, y'all can never again claim to be pro-life, because you're not. You're literally killing kids at this point is what this is going to boil down to. You can never claim to be fiscally responsible, because what did you do? You just added $5 trillion to the country's credit card. And with all this money you're going to be saving, no, it's not saving any money. It's adding trillions upon trillions of dollars to the debt and the deficit both. In the process of doing it, it's taking food away from kids, health care away from the American citizens. It's kicking senior citizens and the disabled out of nursing homes or hospice homes. And also the billionaires can sock away a few more million. It's like nobody knew they had it so rough. I mean,
yes, Sherry, that's what I was going to say. They have suffered. They really have. You know, we have to give them a little something, because God knows, you know, they've gone from, you know, weekend getaways, you know, every month to now maybe, once every 3 months. Let's show them a little compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh my God.
I got your compassion right here, if you can read between the lines. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, right there. So, but it's just, and the fact that they want to stand up there, even the orange turd himself, just 2 days ago. Oh no, it doesn't touch Medicaid. Where are you getting that from? It's not. It's because it's in the bill.
Yeah,
That's where I got it from. It's very plainly spelled out. It's cutting, and it's taking money away. It's literally defunding police departments across the country to give to ICE agents.
Yes.
So they can get bigger bonuses for every body that they round up.
Yes.
Although one of the courts did come back and say that they were not allowed to not wear identifying clothes or have their official badges or whatever the hell it is they're supposed to get, but that this nonsense of just rolling up in a Walmart costume special with a mask over your face. I mean, as far as anybody knows, they roll up and grab somebody. That's just somebody being kidnapped,
Exactly.
And at this point, they're lucky they haven't been shot in the street for it, because, I mean, if somebody jumped out and ran and grabbed, my kid out of the yard or my spouse or something, you better hope I don't have a pew pew on hand, or you're going to get pew pew real quick. I mean, it really is. It's crazy. And what's crazy now is they're snatching American citizens. They're not even going for illegal immigrants anymore. At first it was we're only going to grab the horrible lawbreakers, the murderers, the rapists, and then from there it went to, well, if they got brown skin, they're going to get grabbed regardless of if they were born here or not. And now they're just grabbing anybody and everybody. Just, they're getting like, and I don't know how accurate this is, but I heard somebody saying just the other day that they're getting like 50 grand a head for each one that they bring in.
Oh, wow.
The agents are getting 50 grand. It's like, yeah, I'd be grabbing people off the street too if I was getting 50 grand a head.
This is getting ridiculous with me getting booted out, so I am going to reboot my whole computer and all that. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, Cleo, we got you covered. Yeah,
that's right. No worries.
What my question is, and please, somebody out there, help me find the answer. Since they were going to deport all the mass murderers and the rapists and all the worst of humanity, how many illegal immigrants or illegal aliens, whatever you want to call them, that are currently serving time in a U.S. prison have been deported?
Do.
Exactly.
Big old fat zero.
Yes. And that is, there's a good reason for that. And that is that the prisons in the U.S. are basically privatized. And this is a cheap, very, very cheap labor force, where they only have to pay them $1 or $2 a day to, work out in the field or whatever it is that they're doing. Right. So, yeah, you don't want to lose that cheap labor force. So no, keep them in prison. You know where they are.
And whoever owns the prison, they get so much money per head for every person that you wheel in there. And when it's privatized, there's no government oversight, so they can treat the prisoners any way they want. I mean, they
Exactly.
can feed them whatever they want if they feed them at all. And I mean, some stories are starting to come out now of just what it was like over in El Salvador.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And it's like, holy mother of God, that just, I watched like a couple of people that were talking about it. I had to turn it off. It upset me so greatly just hearing the way they were being treated. I was like, there is no excuse for that at all for any reason whatsoever.
Yeah, and you're right, Old Silver. Yeah, they do want to scare everyone into silence. And
right.
Now is the time that you want to speak up. Never mind
typical Nazi move.
Yes. Yeah.
You do just enough that you keep the population lip zipped, because they might come grab you.
Yeah. So the people that are in the House, the people that are in the Congress, they do not have your best interests at heart. They are looking after themselves more than anything else. They are not going to speak for you, whether they be Republican or Democrat, because let's face it, at this point in time, the Democrats have been a little too concerned with being polite, being the compassionate party, the people who want to reach across the aisle and they want to do things together. Those days are long gone. If you want to pick on a Republican, you got to think like a Republican. That means if you have to get down in the dirt, you get down in the dirt, and there are no apologies for what happens. So it's up to each and every one of you to make sure that your voice is heard, because there are no saviors.
And all those J6 insurrectionists that were imprisoned and have been pardoned and have now been hired by our Department of Justice to be ICE agents.
Yes.
It's like, what kind of a crazy upside down world have we walked into? It's like, I don't like this timeline. So whoever's in charge of it, they need to flip it back or flip it to a new something, anything. But well, I guess I should watch it. I don't want to say anything because they might make it worse. I pulled a couple of cards on it just to see what the thing was. I got national defense. That's their boogeymans. That's their excuse. It's national defense. We're just protecting the people. And then they think they're going to be very successful in what they're doing. And right now it kind of looks like maybe they will be. But eventually they're going to have to concede defeat, because it's not going to be, I really like these cards.
Yes.
It's not going to be pretty.
No. Right now, what the Republicans are doing is they're focusing on that controlled speech. They're focusing, to a man, to a woman, to a person, on following the party talking points. Right? They're not deviating from that, and they're not going to talk about the bill, the thing that they just agreed to, because they're going to be concentrating on the foreign threats, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be concentrating on the trade war. Well, we have to do this. You don't understand. We need to have more money for our military. We need to have more for this, for that. They're not going to be able to explain it away. And it's not going to serve them very well. And I'll be honest with you, I do have concerns about what could happen in the in the midterms, and whether or not there really will be midterms.
That's what worries me. And if there are, will they be accurate?
Yes.
I know that these nonprofit groups that have been working on this I think they're getting ready to start letting loose now that there's the one lawsuit. I've heard rumors that there are several more lawsuits that are getting ready to be filed in the courts in different states for the same shenanigans. So the thing that kind of gives me a smidgen of hope in that area is that Legacy News is actually starting to discuss it as a fact and a possibility, not as a conspiracy theory, because before, anytime you heard anybody mention it, it was treated like it was a conspiracy theory. Oh, they're just pissed off because they lost, da 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 da. Yeah. And instead, they're starting to, I from what I can kind of piece together, I feel like it's because they're starting to see the results that these groups are getting, and they're going, oh, holy crap, they really did steal this thing. So
yeah, it's one thing to say, oh, well, yes, it was stolen. My opinion is it was stolen. Okay, where's your proof? Well, see me in 2 weeks. I'm going to have proof in 2 weeks. What these organizations are doing, like Election Truth Alliance, they have been able to repeat the process of how it was done over and over again. That's how you prove something is what it is. And
exactly.
Yeah, when you can replicate the result, you know exactly what happened along the path. So yes, there's going to be a good number of people who are going to say, oh, well, no, I didn't know. Just wait for them to start pleading ignorance, to be shocked.
Oh yeah, it's going to be all of that nonsense. It was like, oh really? Oh my God. Because before the count was even final in 2020, you already had Trump screaming at the top of his lungs, it's stolen. They stole it from me. It's like, how would you know that they're not through counting ballots yet? But this time you had him running around saying, well, if I don't win, that means that they cheated. It's like, so he kind of, he prepped the surface to be, so that if the Democrats said anything, they would look like they were being sore losers like he was in 2020. Exactly. But I have to give the Democrats credit. They kept their cards close to their chest. They didn't say anything. They kind of, when somebody would ask them about it, they would just be like, yeah, I haven't seen any evidence to say that. And even though you knew that they were seething with wanting to scream this from the top of their lungs, but now that evidence is being presented, replication of how it was done is being presented, and the fact that the Muskrat man has now publicly come out and said, yeah, I helped him cheat. That's how he won, because of what I did, and why the hell is it his ass in jail is what I want to know for it, because that's a federal crime. And in the meantime, we've got big balls running around scoping all of our information off of the databases and selling it to Peter Thiel or whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah.
And I mean, and who knows what they're going to do with all of that before and I saw somebody just the other day talking about this, and I was in and out of the office, so it was like bits and pieces I was getting, but they were talking about how they are Palantir. Is that the name of it? Palantir?
Yeah, something
like that. They're in the process of creating and developing a central database for the entire world to input everybody's information, personal info, banking info, job related info, regardless of what country you're in. Everyone's going to go into the central database. it's like, I don't remember giving anybody consent to take my information and input it in that. I didn't sign anything saying that was okay with me.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, yeah, it's like, I don't know at this point. It's just going to be a big mess.
You know, yeah, Elon is, I mean, he really is in a lot of ways no better than Trump. They're both narcissists, and you know, he's not doing anything for those altruistic whatever thing. No, he's looking after himself. But I do think that, yeah, he knows how things were done, and he's probably approaching Donald as we speak and saying, okay, you know, I bought you the election. I need to get my money back. I need to get this back. I need whatever, or I'm going to start talking. And I think that if it comes down to who has more information on who, I think Elon has more information on Trump. And he also has
by far
information, on Thiel, on Putin, on the rest of them.
Yeah,
so
on everybody. So
yeah,
there's he can do some damage, and he's already kind of let it be known that they try to take me down, they're coming with me, you know. So
exactly.
And yeah, I get that. It's like, yeah, you think you're gonna put it all off on me if I got the info for it?
Yeah.
No. I used to work at a job decades ago where, because I was the one that was good at copying signatures, because the manager didn't insist upon people following protocol day to day like they were supposed to. And so when inspectors would show up, it would be, go hide Sherry in the back room and quick start signing all these names. And one year when this was going on, and she tried to do something that was like going to lay it at my feet, that I was behind something. And I just looked at her and I said, I know where the bodies are. I said, and if I go down, I'm taking the rest of you with me. Don't think I won't do it. And that was the last time she ever kind of sort of threatened me that, you know, because I just like told her, I said, no, I said, I know where the bodies are buried. Don't even go there. And, you know, you think you're going to blame me? You're going to be in bigger trouble than I am, you know, because I'm not going by myself.
Exactly. Yeah. And Rose Bloom, I think Trump has said that, he wants to deport Musk, and he wants to take away his contracts and whatnot. Listen, I want to be queen of the universe. I think I should be, you know.
I want to be a millionaire, you know. So, hey.
So, you know, he's talking without really saying anything, because all Elon has to do is to say, oh, really? Cancel my contracts? Yeah. Mr. Prosecutor, can we have a coffee in about 15 minutes? Oh, okay. Yeah, you're not going to do that, right? There's,
and the thing of it is power. The amount of money that they're spending to give to the ultra rich, they could give every American citizen in this country $1 million, just flat out. Here's $1 million, do with it as you will, and they would still have money left over.
Exactly.
And people would not be scrambling to try to figure out, how am I going to feed my kids this week, or how am I going to pay rent? You know, it's the third. Rent's due. You know, mortgage payments are due. There's a lot of people scrambling right now. How the hell am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to pay the mortgage? You know, So, it's not a pretty picture. I mean, I go through it every month. You know, scrambling, make sure we've got enough to cover everything. You know, because invariably all the bills come due at the first of the month. It's like, y'all should make the bills at the middle of the month, because you know we got rent at the first of the month. So There's not enough to stretch, but regardless, I mean, I'm fortunate in that I have a decent roof over my head. We are able to meet the rent. Some months it's a little questionable. But I mean, it's gotten so bad down here that they've now got a big finance company that's working with all of the apartment complexes and rental places, that if you can't afford to pay the full amount of your rent on the first of the month, well, you can break it down into payments and just pay it every payday with a fee. So you're not only paying the rent that you can't afford to pay, but you're also now paying a fee to get your rent financed through this company to help you pay your rent every month. When I first heard that, I thought, what? That's like more of a ripoff than a payday loan. And and I can understand the need for a payday loan, because you get people pouring up and their car breaks, or their kid falls and breaks a leg, or something happens. They need money, and they need money right now to cover that. And you got banks saying, oh, you don't have the credit for that. Well, no shit. I mean, no crap.
Yes.
Anyway, I'll go off on another rant. Let's not go there. Hi, Cleo. Welcome back. We're glad you were able to join us. Or are you frozen? I think she's frozen.
I think she's frozen.
Oh, bless her heart.
Well, listen. Let's. There was a couple things that I wanted to see if we couldn't read on.
Okay.
And, thank you, Teresa. That is very generous of you.
Oh, thank you, Teresa.
Yes, I wanted to take a look at P. Diddy.
Marina's a much better hostess than I am.
Who, he was found guilty of most of the charges, but not of the most serious charges. So
who are we talking about?
P. Diddy.
Oh, yes. Oh, give me the willies.
So yes, and
never look at baby oil the same way again.
Yes, exactly. So they're talking about possibly, a 10-year sentence and so on. Now, the judge did deny him bail while he's awaiting sentencing, because that was one of the things that his lawyers asked for, was for him to be able to bail out until his sentencing, and the judge said no. I think that was a wise decision. Can we take a look and see, is he looking at 10 years plus? And is he going to survive 10 years plus? Yeah.
Good question.
Oh, and Elaine Tanner said, will P. Diddy actually carry out his threats to the people who testified against him?
Oh, we better believe he will if he can.
Yes.
So are both the charges either 7 years or 10 years maximum?
I believe that they are 10 years maximum per event. And I think that there was 2. So it would be, maybe 20 years altogether. Well, now, baby is definitely, they're going to make a deal. They are currently in open negotiations where they're talking about how much time he is going to serve. They are talking about the intimidation tactics. I think that that's going to add a little bit time. There is corruption revealed in terms of, the people who paved the way for him, shall we say, and ultimately, they make a deal. So I bet you he gets 10 to 12 years total with, he can apply.
I'd be surprised if he does that long.
Yeah.
Well, first thing I got was disaster wreckage.
Yeah.
This is a disaster. And there's a lot of young, or, well, maybe not so young now, but a lot of these really successful musicians and stars and stuff that he was instrumental in kind of getting them out there and getting them known. But the price they had to pay for that was truly just absolutely devastating. I know I saw Usher, was it Usher? I think it was, that he kind of took under his wing when he was like 12 or 13. What's a 13-year-old going to be able to say to someone like this who, his parents hand him over? Yeah, I help him get in the business. And but then I got compromised and harmful. So it's going to show there are a lot of very successful people in the business right now that are there because Diddy pulled strings, but what was the price for that? And so there's a lot of it's going to be a mess when it really all kind of comes out and some people speak out. And he was smart in the sense that he wasn't always doing the naughty things and the naughty parties, and he would have these big elaborate get-togethers and invite upstanding political and business oriented people to these parties who were there just, regular. I mean, he had the two, Prince William and Prince Harry were both at one of his parties at one time, and just, they didn't stay. There was something when they got there and they were like, yeah, no, something's not right. And they left. Yes. But there's still pictures of them being at this party. And, there are other big time entertainment folks, again, who were there that may have not been aware of what was going on. Or if they were, they were so horrified and they were basically told, shut up or it's going to get out that you were a part of it. I mean, that's tough decisions you got to make. And then I got lacking readiness.
Oh, poor Cleo.
And deliberately obscuring.
Yes.
And that, I think that one is probably the truest one of them all. Was it very deliberate moves. I mean, we've watched some celebrities that get hauled into court and accused of really horrible things, and sometimes it's very true and they're very guilty, and other times it's because someone's just trying to make a fast buck off of them.
Yes.
And they got to get dragged through the mud for it, and I've seen celebrities in both camps there that has happened to. And it's, for those that is just someone trying to make a quick buck off of them, I feel sorry for them because they're in a very insular world, that who do you trust? I mean, you don't know who you can trust anymore at that point. I mean, my God, if I had that kind of money and that kind of, where I had to have an entourage that traveled with me just to keep me safe, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm doing something.
Who would I trust? Yeah. It's just, and more than anything else, it's the victims that really pull at my heart. Because it's like, there's, just like with the Epstein files, it was those young girls that will never get full closure on it because somebody unalived him before he could crack and start talking. And
yeah, I saw that there was a couple people in the comments, I think, who said that some of the legal pundits on the news and TV and whatnot were saying that he just might get 24 months. I think that given it doesn't feel well, I'll pull some cards. I think that it feels, yeah, they might start talking about that, the improved situation, about the fact that, yeah, you know, he doesn't have a record and he's whatnot. You can't say he's an upstanding member of society, but the collective action is going to be against him. People are going to say, no, enough is enough.
Misleading headlines.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that they might talk about, you know, maybe 24 months, but I think he's going to end up with a little longer than that.
Covert corruption.
Yeah.
What do you think,
Leo?
Well, I think every time I talk, I get booted off. So I unplugged the mic and then plugged it back in. And if I keep, I'm gonna
talk fast.
I'm gonna leave for good if I keep getting kicked out. But I don't know exactly what everybody's been talking about with
Diddy. P. Diddy.
But I just, you know, he beats up women. I have no respect for the man. So anything he gets, he deserves.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think that there, because of the fact of who he is and how visible he was and how well known and all that, there is, we expect better actions from people that we hold in some regard. So I think that, you know, I think that he's looking at longer than 24 months.
I think the judge is not particularly pleased with him.
No.
And I think that he thought that he was going to be able to go home and then come back and get sentenced for something. Well, no, it didn't work out that way. So, and I'm glad it didn't. It just, you know, when you see a picture of him in the hallway kicking and beating a woman,
yes,
I have no time for that.
No. That, you know what, when you're doing something like that is the same as mistreating an animal. There no sympathy for me at all. Just
no. I mean,
none.
And like I said, all of the younger celebrities and musicians and stuff that he helped, you know, get into the business, you know, especially for those that have really become very successful now. I mean, there are things they don't want that out there, what they were forced to be into in order to be where they are today. I mean, you know, that's just
I'm gonna leave. I know it's gonna happen again. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it is my computer. I don't know. But anyway, I'm sorry I can't be here for the rest of the show, and I missed most of the show. But I will be here next time we do the Golden Girls. So
there we go. Absolutely. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Cleo, you take care. All right.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, sweetie.
Yes.
Oh, bless her heart. Yes.
I know.
We were just there a week ago. So, so.
I think it was Rose Blue who said, did they freeze his assets or did they seize his assets?
Yeah.
I'm just going to toss a few cards on that.
I'm not sure about that.
His assets. I think that
I'm sure they put some kind of a hold of some sort on it, you know,
Yeah.
just
or are ready to at they forced his hand. They might very well have said, no, you're not doing this. Change in focus on what he's thinking about, what he's concentrating on. Selfish agenda and housing and infrastructure. And I'm thinking infrastructure jail. If they have not seized his assets already, everything is on the table. They're just, it's as quick as picking up a phone and saying go. Yeah.
I know I got support assistance. So, you know, there are other avenues out there for whoever he was involved with. Because I don't see him as being the only mastermind behind this. I do see him as someone who was maybe working in tandem with another type of organization, you know. Again, I got misleading headlines again. So this is like the second or third time this card's popped up. And then I got working on solutions. So yeah, he's doing double, triple time trying to figure out how to get out of not having to spend any time in prison. And I think he's in for a rude awakening.
Yeah.
That he's still going to be spending time. And then the last one I drew was power of persuasion. So he's trying really hard to just talk everybody into. That's kind of been one of his golden gifts, is his ability of talking people into things that they really didn't understand what the hell they were getting into until it was too late.
Totally. And yes, Old Silver, you're right. Abusers always blame their victims. Yeah,
absolutely.
You
know, it's their fault that I had to beat them or rape them or, you know, whatever the case may be. You know, it's their fault that I'm screwed up in the head. Yeah. And
you know what I do when I'm drinking? Why do you push me? Why do you do that? Are we both using the same deck? I'm using the governance.
Mm-hmm. That's the one I'm using.
Okay. Yeah. So we are using the same deck. Yeah. How will he do in jail? Well, let's ask. Someone else has spilled the beans in 2026. Justice is coming. Oh, thank you, Celtic Seer. That's good to know. If he does,
I like that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of high-powered names.
Yes.
That were kind of caught in his trap. I think of Usher. I think of John Legend. I think of Beyonce. Some of the others, and you know, they're doing everything they can to keep clear of this because they just don't want to be smeared by it for fear of it completely tanking their careers. And I get that. When, you know, when you're making that kind of money and you're living that kind of lifestyle and you have people who rely upon you for their livelihood because you're paying them for their services, it's, you know, that's a lot of responsibility, and you don't want to do or say something that's going to turn around and and suddenly people are looking at you funny, you know, even though you may have only been a 13-year-old kid and didn't know what the hell was going on anyway. So you know, and drugged up and liquored up, and
I think that in he is right now he is very much in pursuit of control. He wants to control the narrative and what comes out and what's going to be said. That is going to be a little difficult because he is currently behind bars. Okay. He is right now, he is very much outside the trusted circle. They are not sharing a lot of the information with him. There is, particularly with him, there is a shadow ruler. There is someone else that is involved in this. And this shadow ruler could be the one that...
Shadow operation. I got that one too.
Yes. Yeah.
Housing and infrastructure. You know, he managed a lot of this because he kept them in his home under his domain. He got parents to sign off legal rights, you know, so he could keep their kids with him and stuff. And I mean, like I said, when you're in that kind of a position, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
You know, this is the adult in the room. This is the one with the money and all the trappings that you desire. And if he tells you, well, you can have this too, but you got to do whatever.
Exactly.
You know, you're 12, 13, 16 years old. You're like, okay. You don't think about it because you don't realize what that does to your soul. I also got crypto uncertainty with that. So again, follow the money. He's playing in money here. So and then the last one I got was outside the trusted circle.
Yes, same card that I got. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So
something's going on.
Oh yeah.
And yes, Kristen Chaffee, it is. This is the Trish James Oracle.
Yeah, the governance deck.
Yep. And
I have the governance and I have the predictions, and I'm torn as to which one I'm gonna go for next. Because I want all of them.
Yes.
And they're expensive cards, and shipping is expensive, but
yes. But they're well worth it.
So
Not
worth
only
it.
are they good cards, but the quality of the cards is fabulous. And with most,
as y'all can see, gilded edges.
Yes.
I mean, they're good thick stock without being inflexible.
Yes.
They're still flexible enough that you can actually, now they're too big for my hand to shuffle normal. I have to shuffle them sideways. That's just because I have short stubby fingers and they just don't reach around the cards.
And that's the way that I that's the way that I do them too, is kind of sideways. And they're fabulous. Love.
I know when I first saw Linda using the regular predictions deck, and the first couple of times I saw her use it, I had to send her a text and say, "Where did you get those cards? Oh my God!" You know, and she texted me back and sent me the info where to get them, and of course Trish was sold out. I mean, I waited like 3 months until she finally had some in stock that I was able to get some. But they go fast. I mean, when she gets them in, they're gone. But
and you're right, Bridget. Yeah, Trish does all the artwork. She spent 25 years as a photographer before moving into the digital and so on. But she does all the
very talented, you know, and I know she works with spirit when she does this to know what messages go with what images, and you know, it's not just slapping a few pictures on a card. Anybody can do that, but it's getting that downloaded message to know what goes with what and what is being what picture is supposed to depict the meaning that it's supposed to depict. And so
and Celtic Spear wanted to know if we can throw some cards on Ghislaine Maxwell.
Good one. Yes.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
She's still holed up in her cell.
Yes, she is. And don't kid yourself. She's not suffering. And she is in there for her own protection.
Yep. Yep.
Because there are too many people on the outside who want to get at her. So, yeah, she's not, she's suffering in terms of, she's somewhat confined, but she's doing just fine on there.
Yeah, and she's not suffering in the way that most prisoners would be suffering. It's granted she doesn't get the salon treatments anymore, and so she looks a lot more haggard and scraggly than she would have looked if she was still on the outside. But and from what I understand, she's got insurance, as they call it, that if something happens to her, there are events that will automatically click into place, and it's just going to be worse for those trying to keep her hushed than it is to just let her stay where she's at and just pretend she doesn't exist.
Absolutely.
But again, I keep feeling like that's going to come out too eventually, and it's with the repercussions of the people who were wrapped up in this. And again, much like Diddy did, Epstein did the same. He made friends with a lot of high-powered, highfalutin people. He'd have come to their house, come to the parties, and let's go to the island. And 9 out of 10 times, they had no clue what the hell he was in on,
It's just, again, I get shadow ruler. She was very much a part of what was going on. Not, well, I have no idea. No, you did. You were a willing participant. You absolutely did do what the girls accused you of doing, which led to her fall from grace. She is behind bars right now, yes, to gain approval, to see, I'm in here, I'm suffering, I'm in jail, whatnot. But she's
for me.
She is not a typical prisoner. She has a lot more freedom on the inside. She doesn't have to worry about, you can only have $20 in your commissary for whatever. And you can only get 2 cans of soda per week or what. No. Yeah,
no, she gets pretty much whatever the hell she wants.
Exactly. Yeah, she is. She's behind bars, and there was a peace treaty. You let me do my thing, and I'm just going to keep quiet and keep out of the way. But I think you're right. She does have things in place that if anything happens to her, that is the least little bit suspicious.
Yeah, everything's going to kick in. I got reversing course. Yeah. So, she had to take certain steps when she knew this was going down to make sure that she didn't have the sudden proclivity to hang from the rafters, as they say,
yes,
on her own, which, and then also relentless determination. I mean, she's still determined. She's still mad as hell that she's having to spend her later years rotting in a prison cell. But at the same time, who can she trust to be on the outside? I think that's her biggest thing. So she made a very strategic move. She was like, no, I'm going to stay put right here. Exactly. Perfectly fine, perfectly safe. I get a lot of my little extras that I want to get, and with enough money and enough leverage, mama can get a booty call anytime she wants one. There's lots of ladies in there that'd be more than happy to oblige her, I'm sure. And it's all in a pursuit of control.
Yeah.
And because as long as the orange man is still sitting where he's at, she doesn't, I think she hasn't spoken a lot because of what we're just seeing now with his DOJ and his, ICE agents, and his just how underhanded and deceitful he is.
Mm-hmm.
And she knew it.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to put myself in a position where he's going to be sending his goons after me,
Exactly. She's a lot more protected inside prison than she would be outside prison, no matter how many security guards you cover or you hire. There's always ways to get to you. And yes, as someone said, yeah, guilt-free. Yeah, somebody got to her. So yeah. It's always so interesting, folks, if you can take a step back and pretend like you're watching a hockey game or basketball game, and you can see the court, but you're not right at ringside where it's right in front of you. You're up in the rafters and you're looking down. Not only can you see what's going on in the playing field, but you can see what's going on the periphery. And then all of a sudden, you can spot things that maybe you would miss if you had a ringside seat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this was fun.
It was a lot of fun, talk about something a little bit different than just politics.
Yes.
I think everybody's kind of burned out on that right at the moment. And there'll be a lot more of it tomorrow. I know with me, between Linda and Angie and Tarology tomorrow night, is like, I'm gonna be politicked out by the time Saturday rolls around.
Yes.
But thank y'all for coming and joining us tonight. I'm sorry, Cleo, just whatever's going on her side of the planet, it just wasn't working for her tonight. And I went through that just a couple of weeks ago. So this is the first live stream I've done where I was in control since the last one, which I kept getting thrown out. So I was like bated breath. I didn't know if it was going to work or not. So it is very disconcerting. It's hard to focus in and pull messages when you're constantly being popped in and out. It's very difficult. So
it is. And you're welcome, you guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Sherry's channel, and then go
Marina's channel and Cleo's channel. The links for everybody's channels in the description box below. So all you got to do is hop down there, click the link, boom, you're there. You can like, share, subscribe. Subscribing is free. And if you like us a lot more than just a like, you can always join our membership. Marina and I both offer membership, and we do some of the same things and some different things. It just depends. We kind of fit it to our personality and our folks. So I know there's a lot of crossover members in here that are both of our members, so and for that we're very thankful and appreciative. I know
very much so.
My list of people that I'm members to, and so it's totally nice when they member back and and so that's always sweet. Linda G did that like 2 weeks ago. I was in a show and it was like, she's a member? When did she become a member? She just must have popped in, like she's good at doing. She'll pop in on live streams. She doesn't type, she doesn't say anything, she doesn't do anything, but she'll drop a donation or she'll just drop something and she's gone. And it's like, talk about flying by the seat of your pants.
Exactly. Exactly.
But,
all right, folks. Well,
so hopefully everybody will kind of be back to normal next week, back to normal schedules. And I think everybody's kind of been a little off this week because of the holiday and everything. So I know it was a real light week for me too. I didn't do a whole lot. And just rested. I needed it. So
and that's fine. So yeah, we will see you tomorrow. See you next week.
Yeah, we'll be back for Golden Girls on the 17th, and Cleo will be the hostess.
Yes.
And,
yes, we will.
And hopefully she won't get kicked out every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine by then.
Yeah, it's somebody said something about the solar flares had a lot to do with it. It was messing with a lot of people. So I don't know. That's over my pay grade, but thank y'all for coming tonight. Thanks for some of the really good chat and questions you gave us. That was interesting. That was nice to kind of talk about something a little different. And so y'all have a great evening. Have a very happy and a very safe 4th of July weekend. Don't do anything stupid.
Yes.
And don't pop any firecrackers except in designated areas that are safe.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose a finger and you don't want to burn the neighborhood down. So,
exactly.
Bear that in mind.
Yes.
Go watch the professional ones. They're much prettier anyway. And thank y'all much. And we will see you soon.
Bye for now.